G'day everyone and welcome to the Insight NBA show. This is the Chase Down. I am your host, Matty G, and we are talking about week 17. It is a week in two parts. Much like if you go to the theater, there's an intermission, and the intermission in week 17 is the NBA All-Star Weekend. We'll break down that, impossible injury news and some implications into that one, all coming up to you. And also, more importantly, is some really public service announcement shit for the run home to your fantasy playoffs, because they're not too far away. We're going to talk about them right up after this.
Welcome to the Ultimate Super Coach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
I guess the biggest news out there today is, let's just do NBA update, because this is one of the most weirdest situations we've had in a while. Isaiah Stewart and Drew Eubanks have come chest to chest at the game today between the Phoenix Suns. To innocuous, okay, I'm not going to say that Isaiah Stewart is innocuous, because we've all seen the bullshit with him and LeBron James for a couple of seasons ago in the NBA. But Drew Eubanks must be the most unsuspecting looking guy to be in a punch-up altercation randomly as he's about to play a basketball game that I know that I've ever seen of. But apparently you can hate people and their names can be, Drew Eubanks, because Isaiah Stewart and him have had a bit of a stoush up, and then they've ended up with a punch on. Police have had to separate them. Isaiah Stewart's had to be charged. And the big question on everyone's lips is, because he saw minutes today, is James Wiseman an ad? Well, newsflash, people. I'm pretty sure they're stuck with him for the Pistons for the next 4 years, Isaiah Stewart. So I don't know how you can get out of that contract for being a shit bloke and punching a guy. And we've all seen this kind of shenanigans happen before. But look, he didn't play, obviously, in today's game. James Wiseman rolled out there for 12 minutes, went 1 from 3, and did pretty much jack diddly squat. He was actually a negative 28 on the floor. So no, you do not pick up James Wiseman is the big news. The news is still Simon Fontecchio, again today, 7 from 15. He continues to be an asset. The only 1 assist and 1 rebound. The 2 steals were nice from him today in that one. But Fontecchio has been the ad, and Asar Thompson has been the pickup more than anyone else in Detroit. This is going to continue to only service him in ways you can. 14 points, 7 rebounds, a block, 2 steals today. Absolutely huge for the man, Asar Thompson. We love what that's on. Now, I guess it's a little bit hard to see when you think about NBA basketball, and we've been so good at having it for days and days and days. And then we look at this. We see today's massive 13-game slate, 26 teams across the NBA played out. Look, we're all winding it down for the All-Star break, and then we're going to pick it up again. The big news is as well that Desmond Bane has been Australian. We're going to talk about him in a second, but there's only 3 games tomorrow, so we will preview them in a second. But we're going to talk strategies for All-Star break. People get a bit antsy. People want to do something. Where's my NBA? Where's my NBA fix? So this, first and foremost, is I probably should play a bit of a hot tip. Should I play the hot? I will, because I think it's a bit of a hot type tip. I will do it, and also I just like it. And I know that when Skitty from the Inside Podcast Network listens to the show, he's going to absolutely demand that I play the hot film clip, so he thinks of Kelly Oubre. Hot. Yes, indeed it is, because the hottest tip that I can give you is this: is know your NBA trade deadline. But Matty, it's passed. It was just last week. You did a whole show about it, and who to pick up and who not to pick up about it, and who was good, who was no. Your NBA trade deadline, because it might be different whether you are on Fantrax. Some leagues, like I am in one analyst league, we're in playoffs right now. We are in a 3-week semi-final slog. It is an endurance race of fantasy. Literally, we started last week in a 2 weeks ago in a 2-week quarterfinals lot. We've done that one. I've made it through to the semis in this analyst league. But because week 17 is in 2 parts, it's in 2 weeks. We played over 2 weeks. There's an extra week added on. You could be in the 3rd, and your trade deadline has well and truly gone. That ship has sailed. I actually, funnily enough, know another league that the trade deadline, it's in a 3-week playoff, similar to this right now. I'm not in that one. It's a 3-week playoff period from right now, but the trade deadline finishes after the All-Star game on Monday, our time, Sunday, US time. So that night clicks over midnight and their trade deadline in that league is dead. Like, that's insane. These people are in semifinals and you can make trades to not only just win your semifinal, but win your final. That's crazy. But it could be your default settings. So my public service announcement is this. Jump on in this dead time before your 3 games, after your 3 games. Check when your NBA playoff schedule is for your playoffs. Double check when that's set and double check when your trade deadline is in your leagues, because this could be the time to make your major moves. Listen back to our podcast the other night. Check out the recent one. We call it the pickup. Mally and I do it every Tuesday night. It airs Wednesday morning in the US. You can get it on Tuesday morning in the US, Wednesday morning here in Australia. Wherever you are in the world, make sure you go back and check that one out. And also like and subscribe to all things at Insight Fantasy Sports, especially if you're into other sports. Like in Australia, you're into your NRL or your AFL. We are the home of all of that. The NBL is reaching a triumphant climax, so make sure you get onto that one. And also jump into our Discord, because our unlimited membership is now on. It's only $25 for an entire year, and it covers you for all sports. NBA for the rest of your season, NBL next year. But this year, well, we're about to have AFL and NRL, then we roll into BBL season at the end of the year. It covers you for all that. The link is in the description below. Make sure you take advantage of that and use that and get into Insight Unlimited. But yeah, this is the thing. You want to check your settings in your league, whether you're ESPN, Yahoo, or Fantrax, to see when you can make a trade, because people do get jonesing. Check out those guys from the show the other night. We were bang on with one Mr. De'Aaron Fox. We've spoken about it today. We said act quick, because that window for him was going to slam absolutely shut. He put up a 40-piece yesterday, and today he follows up with a 38-8 game. Yeah, you could have bought low if you listened to that pod the other day, or if you were just in your fantasy know. Make sure you check out that Unlimited, because we do get the whip, and he was written in that one as well, because he was a buy low guy. He was outside the top 200 fantasy players in the last week, and people start to get antsy for a trade. Now, God forbid that the last 2 games for Swiper were horrible. And you listen to that pod, you could have even got him for a little bit cheaper. But a guy bounces back like a 40-piece and almost a triple-double today on a back-to-back slate for the Sacramento Kings. You're not going to be able to buy low on him anymore, but you might be able to make some other moves. Guys, other buy lows, like a Jaylen Brown out there, or guys who aren't playing, like Jimmy Butler, who's had some personal loss in the family and who isn't active. People start to shape up who they want to have in their teams come their fantasy playoffs. You need to know your deadlines. Check your league settings, because otherwise you're twiddling your fantasy thumbs for the next few days. So the core message of this podcast is make sure you're doing that, because you could change your fantasy destiny quite easily by making a tactical change right now. Also start to lean into your punts. Where have you been winning? Like, you've got, by this point, 16 weeks in most leagues. You've got 16 weeks, actually in all leagues to be fair, 16 weeks of history. What's worked for you? What hasn't? When you made a trade this season, did you get what you needed? Did you get what you were hoping for in that trade? Are you still taking that with you now? Because let's be honest, your window is shutting, guys. Like, all girls, regardless of gender, fantasy players, let's call you managers, fantasy managers. Like, when is it? When is your league settings? I did a pod with Dan Titus at the beginning of the season. He's like, good managers are going to be wrapped by week 21, 22. Now, if you're wrapped by week 21, 22 right now, you're in week 17, which means that you enter your fantasy playoffs after this fortnight. You have 2 regular games, like 2 regular blocks to go, and then it's money-making time. And if you're in a cash league, there's money on the line, people. There's money on the line. You're in week 17. You're about to have time with no games until next week. Like, this is a respite for NBA players. This is their rest time. While they rest, you need to be hard at work figuring out some tactics to make some moves in your leagues. So really drill down into your punts. Are you punting field goal percentage? Who can you go after that's been hot? Look at form and opportunity. Also, it could be time to start to fade some of the guys that you know that some of those post All-Star break shenanigans can take on. This is your time to move those guys. look at your leagues, look at your settings, and get involved in that, because there's a lot of guys out there right now who haven't been training in the right direction. I mentioned Jaylen Brown earlier. Another guy who I actually loved earlier this season, Alperen Şengün. He has been down lately. You're looking at guys like this. You're looking at guys like, not De'Aaron Fox anymore, but we're looking at guys who are starting to fade off a little bit. Where have they been on the season compared to the last 3 weeks? I'm going to put out a comprehensive list come this week, because we're not doing a heat check show on Saturday. So we are going to be doing a bit of a temperature check. We're going to be like hot guys, because obviously we want to talk about the hot guys, and the ice cold guys. So look for that on Saturday morning. We'll put that up through the Insight Fantasy Sports Network. Make sure you like and subscribe. It's all in the buttons below right now in the screen. Like and subscribe to all things at Insight Fantasy Sports, and it's at Insight F Sports. It's right above my head, right here. You can't miss it. Or if you're driving in your car, just maybe pull over for a second. Be like, that's some good advice. I should do that. It covers me for all the sports that I love. Make sure you do that one right now, because right now what we're going to get into is we are going to get into our preview for the games that are coming ahead. He's heating up. And it's not so much a weekly preview than it is a daily preview, and it's only a 3-game day tomorrow, and it breaks my heart for that, as again, per the schedule, we only have 3 games. But this is the schedule if you listen to the pods earlier this week, and shout out to Matrix, because we do the crossover every week where we focus on this one. There were some teams that this is where the juice comes good. You juice on the Bucks and the Timberwolves come good. They've played 3 games since Monday with this whole situation. They played on Monday, Tuesday. They had the respite, and they came back in for this one today as well. So they got 3 games out of them, and 2 of them were the low volume games. That was the Bucks and the Bucks and the Timberwolves. The other team on Tuesday and tomorrow on the Thursday is the Portland Trail Blazers. But again, the Portland Trail Blazers have played the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they played the Minnesota Timberwolves the other day as well on our low volume day. So that wasn't so great for them. It didn't turn out very, very well. For the Trail Blazers, they got smoked. DeAndre Ayton had a huge one, but it's also a game where they could rest. So let's just check out injury reports, especially in our daily leagues. One of the guys that I liked earlier for a possible pickup in the play for this 3-game series was McDaniels. Now, he had an absolute woeful sinker. He went 0 from 7. Jaden was horrible. 0 from 7. I hope you were punting field goal percentage that week. If you weren't punting field goal percentage, whoops. Because he was 0 from 7 from the floor, 0 from 3. The 2 rebounds and 1 block shot in his 24 minutes were absolutely shithouse from him. He can be a lot better. He can be good. I know I picked up Kyle Anderson the other day. He was great for 3-throw percentage for me, 6 from 6 from the line, 1 from 3 from the field. But what I like from Kyle is he's a distributor in the second unit. He can get some rebounds. He can get some steals and blocks. He didn't offer any peripherals. So we're looking for guys like that who played well the other day. Another name that was very hot on some waiver wires, depending on the depth of your league, is Mike Conley. He was 2 from 7 the other day. He won't be that bad. It is Mike Conley. And a guy that's been out and is probably out tomorrow is Scoot Henderson. We're looking for guys like Jabari Walker and Duop Reith. We're just going to check the report closer today as well to see if DeAndre Ayton is going to play, because he could take a rest just before it. And let's be honest, he is a headache or an illness. And these things kind of creep into the lineups just before these kind of times. Anthony Edwards, for example, is questionable. So guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker can get a bit more of a bump. For the Timberwolves tomorrow, currently probable is Scoot Henderson with a foot sprain, but they might err on the side of caution with him. Other major outs for tomorrow's games in Golden State is we know that Chris Paul is still out. Now, I was asked today, is Chris Paul a stash? Well, yeah, if you're going to win your week 17, you kind of got to look at it at this point. But if you have an IL spot, because he's going to be reevaluated, he could be missing the next 4 to 6 games, and that brings you close into week 18. So how competitive are you? Are you leading your league? Are you top 4 in your league? Okay, cool. How top 4 are you in the league? I'll call out my own personal league sometimes just to use it as an example. I've got to go into my friends and family league. Also into one of our Insight leagues, because that is getting incredibly competitive come the final. But I'll go into my friends and family one. I was talking with Skitty about this before. We just did an FBI basketball. Shout out to our good mate at Adam King as well, at Adam King 91. Shout out to him in that one. Skitty and I, at Skitty IFS from here in the team. Huge pod with the AFL tonight with Mickey Dell. Absolutely massive with the Horses for Courses team reveal in the AFL. Huge AFL podcast, that one. Absolutely loved it. Now, this is rivalry week in ours. And number one is clear. Shout out to my mate Ken. Massive season for him. Made a trade at the beginning of it. Don't regret it at all. He's just winning the league this year. Now, I've fought through some injuries and drafting Ja Moran late. And he's clearly at number one with 85 wins on the season. He's at 85, 58, and 1. So this isn't a league where it's like a weekly, if you win, you go through. It's on wins that get you there. And I kind of like those leagues more than if you win a week or lose a week, because the week you lose, you might lose 5-4. And it might be on something shithouse. Like I lost a week 5-4 this year, and I was up 5-4 before my last player, who usually has a +9, like a 900 field goal percentage. He only shot one free throw for the game, or 2 free throws, and he made one and he missed one. And I lost out on free throw percentage by 0.05 or 0 point something. It was like one shot. Like had he made one of the two, he would have won. And that happened for 2 weeks in a row, 5-4s. So I do kind of like if you like the games that you can win to accumulate over time, because 5-4 is super competitive, whereas just winning the week, it doesn't indicate how competitive the league is for me. Like, oh, you won at 9-0 in a 9, you won it like 6-2 in an 8-cat. Cool. You won. You get 1 point. The other person gets 0. I think it should be on how competitive you built your team overall. So I always like that. So back to this one, it's 85, 58, and 1. Second, and this is where it gets a bit chaotic, and I'll talk about wins. Second place is 75 wins. Third is 74 wins. Fourth is 73 wins. Fifth is 71. And now it gets a little bit even sicker. So a fourth is 73, fifth is 71, sixth is 70, seventh is 69, eighth is 70 because they've tied one. That's crazy. And then the ninth ranked, who's just outside that, is at 67 wins. And then 10th is 67, 11th is 67th, and 12th is 66 wins. So that is 5 games. This is how competitive it is. It is 5 games that separates the last placed 66th team, who's been injury ravaged this year, to making the playoffs at 8th with 70 wins. That is 4 games. And you can win that in your leagues. You can come back from talk to that. If that is how competitive that your league is, this goes back to the advice. Trade, free agent sign, get on your waivers, target your guys, get over the edge in week 17, win 5-4. Like, that's fine. 5-4 is going to get the job done at this point, because if the guy who was at number 4 or at number 5 or at number 6 loses like 7-2 and you win 4, that's 2 games that you make up. And if your 66 wins is at 12 and to get into the playoffs is 70 right now, that's only 2. You make up 2 wins. And if that happens with 3 or 4 guys across your league, don't be passive. Get aggressive. You can shape your fantasy destiny if you move forward for that one. So those are making the buzz off that one for tomorrow with the Trailblazers and the Timberwolves. We can look to stream in there. As we said as well, the other guys to pick up in for our teams tomorrow, we were looking initially for some guys who were playing in the triple games, but if you didn't pick up any of those from either the Bucks, again, we can pick up guys like Beasley, Portis in there, Pat Connaughton, the lesser Pat. For the Grizzlies, there's some value there. GG Jackson is still available in a lot of wires, and he had an absolute rip snorter of a game today. So shout out to GG Jackson. He is available in a lot of Yahoo leagues. He has shaped it very quickly with the back-to-back set. I will bring up GG's thing because there was I know a guy in as well who absolutely dropped who dropped Jaren Jackson because they saw JJ, but GG got picked up, and he is up to only 34%. Now, he had a massive one today after resting a game, but 8 and 15, 500 from the line, but 20 points and 9 rebounds. If you need points, you can pick GG up. And the 3 blocks, let's be honest, that's a little bit sexy. So he's got another game on tomorrow as well. He has gone up 5% in the last day. On the back-to-back, people are looking for him today. They've rode that out. They're looking to capitalize tomorrow. He could be available in your league. You can bring it up for a one-day stream. This is where if you've got a couple of streams, bring in them. It's a low-volume day. So you're looking for the best of these guys. The Warriors on a back-to-back pinch after huge game today versus the Clippers. Like, that was an absolute rip snorter of a game today versus the Clips. They went down 125 to 130 versus the Clippers, but we can get some fantasy gold out of that. We can look for Pod today was massive, 25 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, and a steal. Pod is a bring-in in league. He can bring in it. Dario Saric was shithouse today. We don't want to look there. Gary Payton, if you need some defensive stats, usually you can bring him in. Wasn't that very good today. And Wiggins is still available in leagues, and he's been back and starting and playing better. Why don't you pull Wiggo in? You know, yes, he's Wiggins, and he made us sick to begin the year, but right now he is definitely a rosterable guy. Look, in 12 teams, especially on a low volume day, why not? If you've got your worst player there and he's sitting, drop him. Pick it up. Be aggressive. In the Jazz, we're looking for these guys to give us some value. They obviously, again, are on a back-to-back set after going down against the Lakers today. Big game for the Lakers, especially without LeBron James. A massive one, especially. But Anthony Davis, like, he is having an absolute rip snorter of a season. 2 blocks, 1 assist, 15 rebounds on top of the 37 points. But let's not disparage one Mr. Rui Hachimura. A game of games for this bloke today. 36 points, flowers off for him. He was my absolute take it to the bank, bonus bank player of the day. And don't forget, if you like to take it to the bank, get onto bonus bank. They teach you how to make the absolute most out of all of your betting odds. You want those bet refunds. You want those bonus bets. You want to make sure you can get that cash back if you do the same game multi on a certain game, on a certain day, or on a certain horse at a certain race. Well, Bonus Bank will teach you how to do that on minimum risk to make the most money possible. And if you use promo code INSIDE, you get 25% off your first month subscription. Make sure you check out the link below and get part of Bonus Bank. But yeah, Rui Hachimura was my Bonus Bank player of the day. 36 points on waiver wires. I'm going to check this right now. The Hatchmeister he is, I believe, under 20% owned. Yeah, 18% owned. He has gone up 5% in the last day. He has played 3 great games now in a row. For points and threes, we love to see that. He gets a few cheeky rebounds. The one problem with me with Rui is this. I like him when he's playing defense in the Lakers system and he's getting me a cheeky block or a cheeky steal. He's had no steals in the past 4 games. He's had 3 blocks in the last 4, which is nice. You can get that here and there off the waiver wire. But I do want to see some more from him. But the field goal efficiency has been absolutely huge. The free throw percentage, though, has been inconsistent. Make sure if you bring him in, he did it on volume too. So 4 of 5 today, 800 is great. But 1 from 4 last game was a little bit off with 500, 1 from 2 the last game before that one. So that's a little bit of an iffy one there for Rui. But I like Hachimura on the Lakers, and he does have more of a role in this. And he can give some more juice. I saw a great meme where it was like Drake pointing out to someone. I was like, oh. It was like Rui explaining to Darvin Ham that he should play more minutes. It was like, Ham was like, and that's pretty much what it is. We're also going to remember how good this bloke was in the run to the playoffs for the Lakers and in the playoffs for them last year. An absolute spark plug. So he is available for when the Lakers are playing back-to-backs. Let's look for an update for Cam Reddish closer to after the All-Star break and to see what's happening there. But again, we've got guys on that back-to-back game today from that. Now, Kelly Olynyk has gone out of town, so everyone was like, oh, who's going to be the major beneficiaries here? Who's going to be the major beneficiaries here? So everyone was thinking it's going to be Hendricks. Everyone was going to talk about it was Walker Kessler. And obviously it was. Walker Kessler tonight, 6 from 13 from the floor, 3 blocks for him, 12 points, 7 rebounds and an assist. Very nice. John Collins has been very dependable for these guys lately, but Taylor Hendricks and his 16 minutes tonight, we like this from him. 4 from 9, the 1 from 6 from 3 we don't like, but there was absolutely nothing in the box score. We like to see him getting minutes. We like to see him getting shots, but that's not going to do the juice for you. What's going to do the juice for you is guys like Jordan Clarkson sitting 32%, like 32 minutes off the bench as always, but guys like Keontae George, who started today instead of Chris Dunn, who played 17 minutes. Keontae George, 33 minutes, 5 from 9, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals, 13 points. God, I love Keontae George. He was kind of one of my sneaky picks at the beginning of the season as a late round flyer, and I'm not going to lie. I didn't hit immediately. I thought he might get some more run. He didn't. But with Obaji being out, these minutes have got to go somewhere. And Keontae George has been an absolute pickup in leagues. He has been doing assists. His inefficiencies, they stem from the other game. 2 from 10 last one, 4 from 11, and 6 from 11 the game before that. But you can start to see a bit of a trend. If you look at his shots over the past few games, you see 11, 12, 9, 13, 11, 11, 10, 9. So he's starting to make more minutes. You start to see the minutes trend. 27, 22, 21, 25, 27, 30, 29, 33, playing in crunch time, playing down the stretch. This can bode well for you, especially if you're looking for assists. He can contribute cheeky steals occasionally. And the thing that I like about Keontae, for a rookie, he doesn't turn the ball over much. Like, he's not giving you 3 or 4 turnovers a game. It's like 2 or 3 at most. Some it's 1, some it's none. So he is owned in 27% of leagues. He's gone up 4% in Yahoo in the past day. So Keontae George, for me, continues to be a winner and someone who we can definitely string in for our game tomorrow as we want to attack the last game set in all of these ones here. I think he profiles well for the rest of the season as well. He's been doing it on the court. The team is speaking him up. He's starting to move Chris Dunn to the bench. So I think this is the most juice we can grab out of all of these teams for tomorrow. If you've got a guy, Shed, Santi Aldama, here's an ad. Bring him to your team. We never know who's going to be good or bad or ugly for the Grizzlies because that's what they do. They've just been doing it. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been fantastic minutes-wise lately, but he could be pulled. Luke Kennard is questionable. Santi Aldama is questionable. Jaren Jackson Jr. is questionable. So Scottie Pippen Jr., Gilliard, and Trey Jemison. Oh, Jake LaRavia is questionable. Who's going to play in this team? Well, it's going to be Concha and Vince Williams for sure, because they're the only 2 starters that are pegged in for this point in time that do not have a questionable tag. And Gigi Jackson. So Gigi Jackson could end up starting. So this is where we look to find this value. Probable tomorrow for the Bucks is Damian Lillard and Giannis. They're probable. So this is where Portis, Connaughton, Pat Bev especially, if Damian Lillard isn't good to go, gets a massive bump when Damian Lillard is out. Who else are they going to run point guard through this one? They're going to distribute the ball a little bit through Malik Beasley, but we all know he just loves to cook or shoot. This is where we're going to make our money for the season by picking up these guys heading into the All-Star break. Make sure you do that. Make sure you like and subscribe to all things at Inside Fantasy Sports. Get onto the Unlimited. The link is on our Discord below. Like and subscribe at all of the buttons below. I am at NBAG Wiz. You can call me Matty G. And we love having you here. We'll see you all soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great night, great day, and hopefully you win your Week 17. We'll catch you soon for the crossover, Part 2 on Sunday night. Matty will be back. Matrix is back from his extended Super Bowl holiday. We will catch you then for an absolute cracker. We'll see you soon, guys. Take care.